All right, Power Building for Beginners. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. So to understand what the concept of power building is, it is essentially just refining the idea of really what older school type bodybuilding used to be back in the day, right? Which was they did some heavy strength-based work and then they did pump work to get jacked, right? So older school bodybuilding before all this stuff got really, really high dose, that's basically what it was. And in fact, even afterwards, a lot trained that way. You could literally describe Ronnie Coleman's training as power building, even though he was, won the Mr. Olympia over and over and over and over. And because he did heavy squat, bench, and deadlift, like a power lifter, but then he did lots of hypertrophy bodybuilding work and built a physique. So this idea is really no different, right? It's no different. And so when I talk about power building, like a beginner could start power building, fairly early on in their training. And all that would entail is saying, look, I'm going to do a bodybuilding split, right? It could be a 3-day push-pull legs. It could be a 40. It could be a 5-day split with a, chest and tricep day, a back and bicep day, a leg day, a shoulder day, all that stuff, right? You can do all that, okay? Totally doable. That's what you could do. And then at the start of some of those workouts, you come in and you do some heavy squat, bench, and deadlift or close variations. Now, it could be box squats like you see me doing here, right? I'm doing a box squat with chains, right? You saw me doing some heavy deadlifting there early on, doing some rec work with 550. See me coming up here doing some rep work with 325 on a bench through here. But it doesn't have to be a normal back squat. It could be that. That's still used in powerlifting. So, you could do a box squat with chains or bands or whatever. Okay, perfectly fine. Come in, do those in very small volumes. Usually in the 1 to 3, maybe up to about 5 reps, because that's power building, right? You're doing heavy work, because 5 and 6 isn't really that heavy. Doesn't matter if it's 800 pounds. If you can do it 6 times, it's not heavy, And that's the idea of looking at it going, let's get real strong for a very small amount of sets. It doesn't, you're talking 1 to 5 sets total. Not really more than that. Not really more than that. Now, you could also incline bench or whatever. Like you'll see me doing a heavy double coming up here, just through the rotation. Right? That's what you're talking about. But that would only be about 5% of your training. Okay? Let's be clear on that. That training would comprise a very, very small amount. Okay? What would the rest of your training look like? It would just be bodybuilding work. Could it be some moderate reps, 5 or 6? Sure, absolutely. There's no rules here. I would recommend most of your work be closer to 10 to 12. Can you do some stuff higher? Sure, absolutely. You can do some 15s, you can do some 20s. Okay, but what's the idea? You would just do a balanced bodybuilding approach. You would look at it in the rest of your training. You would just look at it and go, man, what do I need to do to just maximize hypertrophy? I should probably do some dumbbells. I should probably do isolation work. I should probably, isolate a lot of my muscles. I should isolate my side delts, maybe my rear delts, my biceps, my calves. Okay? That's the idea behind a system like this. Instead of then saying, rather than a traditional powerlifting system, which still might do a lot of that stuff, you really are just bodybuilding. You're bodybuilding. You're not coming in and saying, okay, what do I need to do to increase my bench press? You just let the heavy bench handle that. Right? You're not looking at it going, where's my weak link in my bench? You're going, where's the weak link in my physique? Or even instead of weak link in the physique, you would only say, well, the weak link is only what I've undertrained in the past. I would almost recommend, if you're going to do this approach, you do kind of what I'm doing now. Since my biceps, of course, got neglected the most as a power lifter, I'm prioritizing biceps. Doing lots of curls, okay? Everything else is balanced. You would just come in and say, how can I make every muscle in my body grow? And that would be the approach with the power building, with the time that I can allocate, right? So you would literally just bodybuild. All your training would be geared towards bodybuilding. Coming and going, well, yeah, I should probably work the long head of my triceps. I should probably make sure my upper chest gets worked. I should make sure my rear delts get worked. I can't have these weak hamstrings. I can't have small calves, right? I probably need some forearm work. You literally start thinking of those things. That would be the essence of power building. That you come in and your foundational lifts are to focus on like your classic power lifts or close enough variations that you'll get strong at them. And you get strong. Like, so when we say work on them, we don't mean, a 5x5. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about doing heavy singles, doubles, triples, maybe up to about 4 reps on some of them. But probably, you start hitting 5+ reps on any of those lifts, might be time. If you're going to power build in its truest form, you probably need to add some weight. Okay, there's your foundation. But then you come in and go, man, I could really stand to do a bunch of curls. And you really look at it as a bodybuilder. Because that's it, your strength work is covered. Like, don't worry about the strength end beyond that. Just get jacked, because that will still make you strong. Right? If you're doing the box squats and whatever, you don't need to worry about your squatting per se. You just come in and build your legs. And so then you just bodybuild. Bodybuild. And treat it that way. So do some machine work. It's great. If you need cables, if you need dumbbells, get in and do those things. And don't be afraid to isolate muscles. So again, keeping in mind, that's why we're calling it power building. It really is just bodybuilding. Thinking in terms of size and aesthetics, but with a little bit of strength flavor at the start of the workouts. Okay, that is what we are talking about in essence. Again, some heavy squat, bench, and deadlift or close variations. I mean, you could technically do it with incline benching. If you were so inclined, I like both. I'm a big fan of in fact, for a power building approach, a heavy incline focus is not a bad idea. You could do worse. Okay? But then everything else beyond that is truly just thinking like a bodybuilder. How can I just get jacked and big and aesthetic, right? And fill in all those weak links, right? And that is the idea. That is what we would want to do. That is what we would do. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.